First job. Oh, my first job, I worked at a dry cleaners when I was 16. My dad got his dry cleaning done there, and the lady really liked him that owned the place, so she hired me. I was the first guy she had hired in like 4 years. She would only hire women, and after that she never hired another guy again, so I made my mark, I guess. I worked as the opinions editor of my college newspaper for a couple years, and that was pretty awesome because I got to, you know, use my voice, write things that made people angry and provoked conversation. That was pretty fun. I would say one of the most important things that I learned starting out with the project and really just kind of realizing that there was a huge world out there that I had a lot to learn from, and definitely listening to and collaborating with older people, because young people often think that we've got like all the answers and we've got everything figured out, you know, we're gonna like take on the world, but there's a lot of information and a lot of knowledge that you can get by collaborating with other people from different generations, and that's been one of the biggest and most important things we've had, is the sort of dynamic energy between older people and younger people in the project. Well, just success in the international development world, or the charity philanthropy world, where you're basically trying to take people that are living in what we consider to be unacceptable living conditions, whether it's economic, social, or otherwise, and you know, you're trying to lift them up out of that. And what the last century of international development in aid has taught us is that that's not a straightforward process, and a lot of the simple, what we would consider logical ways of helping people actually usually end up backfiring or not working at all. And so for us, one of the ways we've always defined success is basically doing the best that we can with the resources that we have, because you can't control what's placed at your disposal. You can't control how much of an influence you're going to have, how large that influence is going to be, but you can absolutely control the quality and like trying to learn from past mistakes and research and try new things, basically. And for us, that's been the biggest driving motto, is, you know, doing the best we can with what we have. I would trade jobs with Elon Musk. He's the founder of SpaceX, which is the first private like space flying corporation, and Tesla Motors, which are creating the electric cars. He's just basically a person that's made a lot of money and invested very wisely in technology and things that can really benefit people all over the world in the future. It would be cool to be a part of that. Okay, so I got involved with the Pulsera project by getting invited down to this trip to Nicaragua, and I had just come back from studying abroad in Cuba, had really connected to the people that I met there, and sort of was very much in this mentality that I wanted to work in Nicaragua. I wanted to help the people there. I felt like I understood a lot of the issues, and just something about the culture resonated with me. And when I got the opportunity to go to Nicaragua the first time, this project was basically just getting off the ground. We had bought a couple hundred Pulseras and sold them very fast in the States, and we were starting to kind of pick up some momentum, but we still had no idea what we were doing. And that was one of the reasons I was invited down there, is because I spoke Spanish. And I just got to know the people down there, and realizing the similarities as well as the differences between there and Cuba, and just seeing the need and how genuine these people were. It just was obvious. I remember from the very beginning, like, I just knew that that's exactly what I wanted to do, was work with these people in some capacity, trying to, you know, help improve their lives, basically. It was basically just like, you know, a typical tourist trip down to Nicaragua, and my friend and his parents and the other people they were traveling with wanted to get involved in some sort of a service thing, and that's how they met the first artists that made Pulseras. And they were kids that were living in a shelter for street kids. They made these Pulseras basically as a form of like art rehab, and yeah. And they what if we bought a couple hundred of these, brought them back home, and tried to sell them? And then it was a friend of ours who's an elementary school teacher who designed the first like display, and that's kind of when the light bulb sort of went off, and we realized that There's a huge need for meaningful service projects in schools. People want that. It connects people to another, international service, getting people educated about fair trade, about working conditions and lives in other countries. It just was something that wasn't really there, and we just kind of slowly worked at it and pieced something together, and now it's a lot bigger than it was before. This is Dream Jobbing with Chris. Change your story.